So thank you for staying with us. Many have asked, how can something as beautiful as marriage turn sour and ugly? When do we get there? When we get there, when we do get there, Helen,
Very soon.
Our two guests who are experts on this matter will help navigate us through. In a few minutes, a look at happenings around us during the week, as we always do it.
Well, John, for me this morning, it's a sad day. Nollywood lost two of its heavyweights in the week gone by.
Yeah.
Specifically yesterday. A very dear friend of mine, Prince Ifeanyi, the chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Actors Guild of Nigeria, passed. And sometimes when things like this happen, you begin to ask yourself, was this death really necessary, or could it have been avoided? And you know, there's so many things happening in Nigeria, and so many deaths, so many lives lost, so many properties, so many dreams cut short here and there, and it just takes the grace of God for you to, you know, to have your head on your neck 24/7.
I also lost my cousin and top actor, Victor Olauto, and after 5 years in a coma.
And like I said, these are the few that we know.
These are the few that we know.
You know, the Plateau incidents, for example.
For me, he eventually went to rest, and I want to condole the family, the entire family, and may his dear soul rest in peace. Yeah.
If at this point it's appropriate, I also like to condole the Nollywood family and the immediate family of Prince Ifeanyi. Ifeanyi, you know, his death is a loss to so many people. Such a wonderful soul, such a wonderful soul. And so I think that just takes us from the normal, the usual, you know, beautiful stories and things that we've come across within the week that we share, and it's crazy.
Well, the consolation is that they both had beautiful lives.
They did.
They made an impact
in
society.
Yeah.
So we thank God for having them with us.
And I just ran into this morning, that the police has busted a baby factory here in Lagos just this morning. And they rescued 10 girls, you know, who were being trafficked out of Nigeria to Dubai. I thought the trafficking thing was over with.
Oh, well, you know, they will always look for ingenious ways, you know, to continue their nefarious acts. And well, the law, the long arms of the law, we hope, will remain long enough to...
There's a question mark there. There's a question mark there. Because a lot of people are of the opinion that the law has been thrown out. A long time in Nigeria, and a lot of issues.
Yeah, it's continually...
Depending on who you know, depending on how you're treating your issue, not exactly on how heavy or how bad your crime is anymore.
Another way to look at it is that the law itself is being stretched. You know, it's continuously being stretched, you know. If the law goes this way, they look for other ways. So it's just for us to match A and B.
So criminality and criminals are thinking outside of the box on a daily basis, coming up with new strategies, new styles, and all of that.
And that should be expected. Right.
Wow.
So, Helen.
Okay. Having said all of that, this show must go on, and we are alive, and our duty is to try and get the family, you know, stay on course as much as possible. Human lives must matter, for crying out loud, John. In all of this confusion, fear, and hopelessness, the family should be the sheltered place. Yes, my mom always said that when the heat and the rain beats you from the outside, you know, the home is that place where you should run to for all shelter. That is beautiful. Okay. Yes. Unfortunately, we don't have that. Yes, for shelter, for love and all of it. Well, the reason why we chose to bring some relief through the conversation that we have, particularly this morning, to help us, is our first guest. She's Cathering Tanzamado. And a beautiful name that is.
And your sister.
And she's my sister, yeah. And Cathering Tanzamado, she holds a BSc sociology from the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria. She holds a master's degree in international law and diplomacy in UNILAG. She's an alumnus of Lagos Business School.
Yeah.
She's a professional she's a professional, you know, going through certification now in counseling. And she is a deputy director, state coordinator, National Health Insurance Scheme.
Yes.
She's a lot more, but she's a very simple lady. And she says, I'm just a civil servant.
And she also says she's just a, what? Trainee counselor and public servant.
Yes.
Well, that's what they all say. So, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
I want to get the name right. Tanzamado.
Yes.
Unique.
Thank you.
Lovely name. So, you're welcome. And yeah, we brought you here for a purpose today.
Okay.
You know, and this is to let our viewers get a better understanding of separation in marriages. So let's dive in. Separation in marriage, you know, would mean different things to different people. For some, it's let's see if we survive without each other. And for others, it may be, oh, it's not working for me. See you in court. While a few others will simply say, this is over.
Yeah.
Now, in your opinion, what is separation? Or how should we take separation in marriages?
In my opinion, separation comes in a marriage when the two can no longer hold. And you begin to say, look, we are on the wrong track, or we are not getting things rightly done. So let's take a look, let's take a break and look back and see, can we make it work? Can we go back and regroup and re-strategize? Can we end it here instead of going through torture all the while? Either way, things are no more the same. There has to be a break apart. But what I always say is that it's good to be on the same page. If you want it to end in divorce, let's let it be that we're on the same page. We are looking at divorce completely. If you just want to go back, re-strategize and regroup, let it be that we are on the same page still. Because if one party is saying, oh, thank God it's over, let me go and start my life. In fact, the other party hits the ground running. Quickly he's out, he's thinking on alternative life, while the other person is holding back, looking at the drawing board and seeing how you can get things right. You know there's not going to be a meeting point. So it's good. Be on the same page and see what will come out of it.
Be on the same page.
Yes, and I want to take my question from that. How do you get to that same page? Because if you could get to the same page originally,
there wouldn't be any
the center wouldn't have disintegrated.
You know, our temperaments determine how we face the differences. So I have a challenge with you. I can have a temperament that will allow me accept that, you know, we are seeing life from a different perspective. How do we get to see life in the right perspective? Well, another person is, we aren't seeing life from the same perspective, and I'm not even interested in wanting to know why you are seeing it in the wrong perspective.
Yes.
You know what?
I'm out.
I'm out. So it all depends on what we want. Some of us like losses. I'm sorry to use that word. It means very little to us if we lose and we restart. And some of us are given to know, I've given so much to this. I have to stay and see it through. You know. So when you have two people with total different temperaments, seeing life from a different perspective, it's going to be hell.
Which means
even in separation.
Yeah, which means that oneness, which we talked about last week, was never established or may have never been established in that relationship. Because when you achieve oneness, right, it's then difficult for you to
begin to think differently. Or break apart.
Break apart.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you never know how much of oneness you've attained until something happens.
Yes.
So sometimes you think the oneness is real, the roots are very deep. Then one hurricane will just come and just blow you and scatter everything. I just begin to wonder,
where have I been?
Yes, what was I thinking about? Then sometimes you think there are no deep roots, and you'll be surprised that the roots have gone very, very deep.
Okay.
So that's what separation attempts to correct.
Yes.
Great.
Okay. Well, we've always said on this show that because it's a family show, and the family, the beginning of the family is the coming together of the man and a woman in a marriage. And so we've always said that from the very beginning, there's need for the two partners to establish why. Why are we coming together? Why are we establishing, agreeing to be husband and wife? Why? And that why, you know, if it's established with both the man and the woman, it's that thing that sustains no matter what storms or what hurricanes come along. But in this context, please tell us, what is the place of separation in a fractured marriage?
Fractured.
That in a fractured marriage, you know, the place of separation. When the storm is raging.
It's all crashed.
Yeah, you know when it's already raging and you are left together, things could get worse. Somebody could be hurt physically or emotionally. So what separation is meant to just achieve is, you know, when two people are fighting,
Just
so, okay, stop fighting, stop fighting.
Just
You
to
stay
calm
here,
the-
you stay there, you
calm
come
the
there. Now, so
storm.
what's the problem now?
Okay.
Then the person says, then you begin to say, okay, you know what? You can do it this way, you can do it that way. So separation practically is meant to have you separated, as the word is, calm you down, take a proper look into what is bringing the problem and see, can you fix it? Can you come back together as husband and wife? Or it's all over? You are meant to answer that question at a particular time.
Yes, and that's the question I was going to ask you. Because
Okay.
there are cases where you're like, look, when it's done, it's done. I'm done.
And I'm out.
And I'm out. So why go through the pain of separation? I'm done.
You know, there are sometimes you think you are done. But when you are out there, you realize that you aren't done.
You're not done.
You're not
You're
done.
not so done.
Yeah, you know, a man is not a cast in stone.
True.
It's an emotional being.
Okay.
And you know, you don't have fixed emotions. Though you have core emotions, but you can also have peripheral emotions that get to affect the core emotions. So there's an intertwine of all these. So supposing now you wake up and you just say, you know what, I'm just done. Then you go out there. You
And
now
you see that
realize
you're
that, oh
not
no,
done after all.
I'm not done. I need to come back. It's that little time, regardless of the period.
That's the
it's
rule.
allowed to. It's meant to allow you decide totally.
Or to realize, could come to a full realization
Yes.
if you're done or not.
Wow. So in a marriage separation, who leaves and who stays? When the two parties now decide, okay, let's take a breather. Let's go separate. Let's go our
Yeah,
separate
because,
ways
of course,
and
you have a
let's
home
think it
already.
through. And
Who
let's
leaves?
decide what we're doing. Who leaves and who stays?
You know, the interesting thing about separation, divorce, it's that it varies for different people. In other climes, it's given that the man leaves.
By law.
Yes, that the man leaves. In other climes is the winner takes it all. If I'm the one that is asking for the divorce and I'm the owner of the house,
Okay.
you don't have to choose, you just have to go. In societies, it's the man that determines whether the woman stays or not. But I just think that either way, we should take into cognizance each other. The stronger party should protect the weaker party.
Wow.
I could be the woman, and I'm the one asking for the divorce, and other conditions are more favorable to me. So I should be able to think about the husband, my partner. What happens to him thereafter? If I'm the man, I should think about her. What happens to my girl thereafter? Yes, things are bad between us. That's what. It doesn't mean that we weren't good friends before.
Wow. So now a thought just crossed my mind because we have to look at both parties, you know, in a separation. For some, it could be so vicious, you know, one party feels so
Aggrieved.
Yeah.
The other party is, good riddance to
bad rubbish.
To bad rubbish.
Yeah.
How much of a band-aid would separation be? Or how much of a relief can separation be in situations?
Wow. Depending on what the person is going through, sometimes it could be a lot of relief. Oh, thank God it's over. So if the spouse is the beating type and he beats you every now and then, or she beats you every now and then.
I like that.
You know, the fact that we often think that
it's only the man that beats too.
But you know that by nature, the man is unlucky. He doesn't cry out. His ego is not favoring him
He
this
doesn't
time.
he doesn't tell how much pounding he gets.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so he just goes through.
And it could even be emotional.
Yes, it's
True.
either physical or emotional. And,
Yes.
and I think it's even better that you are going through physical pain because people can see and
Can
come to
see.
your rescue than the
But when it's
emotional pain.
emotional.
But when it's emotional, nobody gets to know. And especially if you are the one that is trying to brave it through, oh, you are a guy.
And if you're egocentric, you can't even share.
Yeah,
You just lap it all up and
yes.
you're there suffering.
Which is common with men.
Yes.
They want to brave it up.
And if you macho women too.
Yes,
few.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the women are few, but you know, the women is given, we are given to emotions, we just let go. We just want to cry out and say, hey, someone is killing me here.
Come and help.
You know, but it could be a relief. But either way, whether at a point you found the relief, you will still feel pained.
You'll feel pain.
Of course, you will feel pain.
The least is that you'll be upset.
Yes.
Yeah, because nobody wants to be, even if it was just 5 years, and then something for which you had so much expectation and all of that,
Yeah.
and something happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes it may not even be your partner's doing.
Yes.
It could be influences from elsewhere that you just cannot stop.
A lot of times, even if it's one person's influence, when you have someone outside fanning,
Fueling.
foiling it, fanning it.
Encroaching in your
Yes,
territory.
you know, a lot of times when I think about the story of what's the name of this king that married Esther, Vashti's husband, the king.
Mordecai.
No, not Mordecai. The king himself has one XXX name.
Okay, that's true.
Something.
That's good.
But that king, you know, when his wife, he called her out, Vashti, to come and show her beauty, and she refused to come. He was hurt. But you know, he didn't take an action. He took the palace men that said to him, you
Take
know
another
what?
person.
We have to put an end to it. What Vashti has done. If you don't stop it, all women will be slapping us men in our faces. And they now brought that idea and say, you know what, banish her. So the king had to marry Esther. But a lot of time I always used to wonder if the king hadn't told those palace men.
What happened? How he was
And he
feeling.
yes, he took it to her and just went back in and Vashti come and was all over him. Oh, sweetheart, I'm really sorry. And he goes, he might have just have said, next time don't do that.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But because he brought them in and they fanned his
Anger.
anger. And they made decisions that were going to be favorable to them, not even to the king.
True.
The same thing with our marriages.
Yeah.
When we allow people come in, and people will come in sometimes at some point, but what are they coming in for?
Yeah.
In our
So your
favor?
interest is not their ultimate concern.
Yes,
it's
not
not
all
your
the
interest.
Time. Most of the time, it's not. So you pray to God, and you look very well to be able to pray that God brings your part. People that are coming in, and they're coming in ultimately for real.
Yes.
Yeah, you know.
You know, before this last question, you know, the one before this last question, you were answering John, and you talked about the emotion and the care and the concern, even after the parties have gotten to this point.
Yeah.
That the man says, okay, if my babe goes out, how is she going to fend? Where is she going to? Do I just throw her onto, you know? And that breaks something in me, that even at that point, there's still, you know, something reminding you of the good old days, if I can use the
Oh
word.
yeah, there'll always be
You know,
something
of the
there.
beautiful times we shared
There'll
together.
always be something
You know, and
there.
the fact that we're friends, and that I still need to look after, you know, the person. It's good that even in separation, that still exists. Now, we have situations where the husband is abroad and the wife is in Nigeria. Is that not already separation? Even if they are not fighting?
Yes. But you know, it baffles me each time I sit back and I look at those arrangements. But you know, it's not my personal life. It's those people's personal life. They know what is their primary goal, what they're looking at. We may not be able to appreciate their lives from a distance. But marriage is meant for companionship. And so if I'm here in Nigeria, my spouse is in Ghana. That is Ghana that is just within a short distance to get. I don't know. The loneliness is there. It defiles any kind of companionship marriage is out to attain. So for me here,
that's as good as being separated.
Yes, but for the people.
But that's in your opinion.
Yes, in my opinion.
You said, it will
but
depend.
even if circumstances make you to stay apart, it's appreciable. But don't make it last for too long.
Too long.
Because those separation can gravitate to
something else.
To something else.
Okay, that is noted. We'll take a break. We will not let it last for too long.
Okay.
So stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. And honestly, Helen, you will agree with me that that first segment has really rocked some tables.
Just setting the agenda.
Very, very interesting. And well, we'll continue with our guest, Cathering Tanzamado, still unearthing separation. And I know that Helen has been itching to ask a few things. Helen, take that shot.
Okay, I take the shot. So thank you once again for the time that you decided to spend with us this morning. Now, could you please tell us 5 things that you must remember before taking a decision to separate from your spouse? By the way, you have passed through this particular stage a long time. You said you've been divorced for 7 years. Did you pass through this stage? Did you go through separation before finally divorcing? And then tell us 5 key things that we must remember.
You know, now talking about separation, you know, mentally we think separation have to be when the woman and the man are not living together. For looking at it critically, I think I already had a separation while I was still living in the same house. Because you just know that at a point you both switched off each other. Yes, you switch off. And so I had a switching of face. And thereafter, it was obvious he wanted a divorce. And for me, that period of switching off was enough time for me to analyze situations and see the much I could do if I can make it work. What you do normally in a separation. And it was obvious, you know what, it's come to a final end. So I took it bravely and I went out. So if you find yourself in
you moved out?
Yes, I did. I moved out.
With the children?
Yes.
Okay.
We find yourself in a divorce. One thing is certain, you just need to know that it's not a pleasant situation for anybody. Whether you are a man, whether you are a woman, whether you are the one that asked for the divorce or you are the one that was divorced, it's not a pleasant situation to go. I also need to know that it's not just with you, it's with everyone that goes through it. And we don't respond to it in the same way. We all respond to it differently. Depending on our temperaments and depending on how it happened. Some divorces are very violent. Some are very quiet. They just creep into you and you just wake up and you discover, oh, it's here. Yeah, so either way, just accept that it has happened and take it in good stride.
Yeah, that's key. Okay, now...
So those are the 5, we're asking for 5 things that you must remember before you take that decision or while you're contemplating it. What are the 5 key things?
You first of all have to ask yourself, if I live here, where am I going to? Where am I going to from here? Do I have a place of my own? Don't I have a place of my own? You must be sure of where you're going to go to. 2, you must think about your finances. How are you going to take care of yourself and the children, if you have any? You know, no matter how little your spouse must have been putting in, now you are no more 2 of you, you are just alone. So you just need to find out, how do I survive financially? You have to think about your finances as well, generally, how you're going to take care of everything. You have school fees to pay, you have a lot of bills. You have to sit back and look very well into that and see how you can go through life with that. You have to look for help. Let's go, cry out. If you need a punching bag, get one, hang it and punch it. If you need to shout into the pillow, shout into the pillow. But allow yourself time to grieve. You don't go through a divorce without grieving or a separation. Get it out. You have to grieve it, get it out. Gee, this is still the marriage you got into and you just had it in mind that was going to be for a lifetime. And now, midway, it's ending. So you need time to grieve. Allow people to keep you company. Okay. Give in to friendship. It doesn't have to be everybody. You don't need more than a few people. Your parents, if they're there for you, your few good friends, lean on their shoulder, you know, and cry out. Don't forget to look into the future. Okay. Yeah, am I going to from
these
here?
These are profound. These are really, really profound things, you know.
And critically, don't regret it. Regret eats us up.
Don't regret it.
Yes.
If it's done, it's done. Just
regret keeps you behind. Just keeps you in the past.
It drags you back.
It stops you from advancing.
Sure.
Okay, now let me ask you.
We've got a few minutes more.
Yeah, you've both agreed to go your separate ways.
Yes.
Okay. What are your obligations to one another? Because, quite frankly, I don't think that bond is broken. Totally.
Yeah.
There's always something left.
In separation, in divorce. What are your obligations?
I just think try and remain friends. Not very friends, depending on how much it can allow. Be on talking terms. You have children. You should be able to come together and discuss the children's future. Think about how you can sort them out through life.
Okay.
Yes.
That's one obligation.
Yes. You respect yourselves. Stay within the boundaries that have been defined.
Yeah.
Okay. So for us here, it's not the issue of alimony. It's not the issue of I'm going to court and I'm going to ask for XYZ amount of money, either to punish the other partner.
It's
that's unnecessary in your opinion?
Yes, in my opinion, it all depends on you. Do you have the strength to go through that? For me, I just felt instead of going through all that, let me just get my energy into seeing how I can get my life sorted out.
This is not a show where we advocate for separation or divorce.
Yes.
But the reality of life is that at a point in time, a marriage does break up. And we're trying to help, you know, the viewers on this show, you know. When this happens, what is the makeup of the human being? So that life continues for both parties. And also, for us not to get to this point in marriage, what must we do? Just as a parting shot, what are the 3 key things that you think a marriage should possess or husband and wife should be involved in to avoid getting to this point, if possible?
For me, I think in going through marriage, to make your marriage, don't take each other for granted. Never take yourselves for granted. Always stay committed to one another and what your family stands for. And always reevaluate yourselves from time to time. Reevaluate your relationship. And above all, always be willing to forgive yourselves. Whether you are divorcing, whether you are separating, whether you are in marriage, forgiveness is very, very key.
Very important.
Once you can forgive, one thing works with the unforgiveness, the spirit of error. You're always finding yourself in blunders, which might lead to an ultimate end you wouldn't want to get into.
You know, when we're talking about this, John, you talked about the children. What happens to the children in separation and in divorce?
Yeah.
And she shared her experience with me.
You both have to come to an agreement.
At that point, she's still answering her husband's name 7 years down the line. And she said to me she did that because of what?
My son. Because of my son, because when we got divorced and, when we divorced, my son was grown. He was about 17 years old. And he said to me, Mom, are you going to change your name? That's all he asked me. And I said to him, will you want me to change my name? He said, I don't know. So I knew at that time that
it mattered to him.
That it mattered to him. So I just feel if there's anything I owe him to allow him adjust to this, is to allow him grow a little bit older. And moreover, the name is not disturbing me in any sense, you know. That I'm bearing the name does not make me the man's wife, but at least it makes me the son's mother. So at least there's somebody I'm getting it right with.
I like that. I like that. So,
Yes.
Wow. And the
I
man
wonder-
is not interested in whether you're bearing the name or not.
No,
Because some men would.
No, he was not.
Yeah.
you know, sometimes I just wonder how time moves.
Doors fly on this show.
You know,
We have loads more questions to ask you.
Yeah.
I can call you Cathering, yeah?
Yes, you can. Sure.
I can
Cathering,
too.
I wish we had more time,
Yeah.
you know, to talk about this, because it's really an issue that a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah.
They don't understand that you don't go straight from home to divorce, that you need a period of transition, which is separation,
It helps.
which allows you, you know, so I hope that you have...
We have been able to.
You have helped us in our
Answer.
understanding and of separation in marriage.
True.
And we want to thank you for this. So, Helen, she's your sister, so give her your personal thank you. We can wrap up this segment.
Thank you
My pleasure.
so much. You know, having that conversation with you yesterday changed a lot of things in my understanding, you know. And when you said some marriages already, there's separation, even when the two are living together.
Yes.
You know. So thank you.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
We hope that we'll find another opportunity to bring you on the show and look at other issues.
Thank you. And I hope that most marriages don't pack up. Each time I see people getting married, I just say, oh God, I pray this
May
marriage.
this last for life.
Yes.
So, Helen, let
Amen.
your sister go.
Okay, so knowledge certainly is power. We trust that this conversation has answered some of your questions, pertinent questions about marriage, about separation, and about divorce. Moving on to the next segment, which is the Keep Fit segment, is Dolly. She's right in the gym, and we invite you to join her.
And of course, immediately after that, Pharaoh will sit with her guest, Ezeogu Chukwuemeka, a life coach and psychologist, to look at why some relationships fail. Please don't change the tunnel, like we say. Time to welcome Dolly.